anything about it. So this is the birthday series card class, the finale. If you're just clicking by, please let me know you're here. We are going to be creating 3 birthday cards using the Paradise Palms bundle and also the Sale-a-bration gift that's called Driving By. It's a really cute stamp set. If you'd like to get the materials to make these cards, all you need to do is place a minimum $35 order. You will get the kit. If you bump your order up to $50, you get an embellishment from me, and you get your celebration item from Stampin' Up. So here is the host code that you need to use. That lets me know that you want this card class. And yeah, you need to do this by Sunday, 7 p.m. because I am placing the orders on Monday so that we can get all of our goodies in and get all the celebration gifts that were due. All right, so let's have a look at the cards. Card number 1 we are creating is, I was going to tell you it's a birthday card, but you are here for a birthday class, so you already know that. Here is my first birthday card using the Paradise Palms and the Driving By. This is a simple, perfect for either a beginner stamper or someone who is stamping I don't want to say in a hurry because you want to relax when you stamp, but this is not complicated, yet still very striking, very elegant. So happy birthday when you open it up. Hope you find a little paradise wherever you may be. And that's one of the sweet things about this stamp set. You know, I love a stamp set that has the art and it has the greetings. So this is perfect for happy birthday, and it's perfect for retirement wishes. And then it also has the little message that you can stamp on the inside. So the one I just mentioned, hope you find a little paradise wherever you may be. And also wishing you a warm and breezy kind of day. So that goes really nice with happy birthday. And the little paradise goes well with retirement or birthday. A lot of people go away for their birthdays. So perfect set for art and images. And let's get cracking here. We are going to be using the stamps and the dies on this particular card. We are not really die cutting. There is a die cut element involved, but we're not really die cutting. Hello, Debbie. Glad you could join. A happy weekend. Looking forward to some relaxing time and some crafting time always, right? And I know we'll have to sit down and enjoy a beverage as well. So cheers to you for the weekend. May you be relaxing as you watch the the cards being created. Our card base on this happy birthday card is Pool Party. It's the standard cut. Thank you, Debbie. Debbie says it's a cute card. You know what steals the show is that little Volkswagen, right? Did you know that I'm a Volkswagen aficionado? I have owned, I think it's 6 Volkswagens. I lost track. I'm very loyal to my brands. I'm loyal to the Volkswagen brand. I'm loyal to Scottish Terriers, if you can call them a brand. I just like what I like, right? Cheers, Debbie. Enjoy your weekend. I hope that you have a nice little bottle you can crack open or a little cocktail you can whip up. So I just folded this on the score line, which is at 4 1/4 standard card size. I am using Cinnamon Cider. That is one of the ink colors that's retiring, and I love this brown. Hello, Debbie Scott. So I think I have 3 Debbies on right now, and that's kind of the way it goes. I lots of Debbies in my stamping group. So I'm using Cinnamon Cider. This particular one measures, let's see, I think it's 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. That's my layer there. And I'm going to be stamping on basic white, and the basic white measures just, let's see, 1/8 of an inch smaller. And it looks like I need to trim this one. I'm going to take care of that. And yikes, I've grabbed the wrong trimmer, of course. Already throwing things around, but that's okay. It's not too breakable. It's pretty hardy. Okay, so this basic white layer is going to be 1/8 of an inch smaller. So if it were at 475 on the Cinnamon Cider, we need to be at 4 5/8. just going to trim this up. And on the opposite side, yes, Debbie's rock. Oh, you guys crack me up. I'm glad you're having a good time. All right, so let's see. The other direction, it will be 3 3/8. So 1/8 of an inch less than 3 1/2. Yes. So we have Debbie J, Debbie S, Debbie E. I need to get my Debbie P on board. Who else do I have? Too many Debbies. Okay, so I've got my basic white layer there, and I've got a scrap that I'm going to be stamping on and snipping, and then I have another basic white that's 3 1/2 by 4 3/4, which is going to go on the inside there. And I mentioned a little bit about the die cutting. This little decorative piece that you see at the bottom on the inside comes from the die set. So it's kind of cool that the die set has pieces that don't coordinate with the stamp. It just has decorative elements to it. Okay, so let's put these things aside. We're going to do some stamping. And we are going to stamp these nice palm trees. And the cool thing about this set is you have options. There is an option to stamp the trunks and the palms separately. And that's what I've done on this card. I'm going to stamp in cinnamon cider. And I'm going to start off by stamping a nice tall trunk. And there are 2 choices in trunks. So you have one that's straight up and one that's kind of bendy. On this card, I'm going with the straight up trunk. And the first one goes pretty much up the middle. And then the second one, I am looking around for a scrap. And I don't want this to go all the way down. So I'm going to do a little bit of masking off here. This one's going to be a little bit shorter and off to the right. And you see how I put my Post-it note there. Thank you, Debbie J. All right, so I've got my trunks and my palm fronds are in Mossy Meadow, really pretty green. And I'm using both sizes of the palms. We have a smaller one, we have a larger one. I'm actually using both. So one's going to go up high, and I'm using one a little bit lower. And then I'm stacking them. I'm going to do the smaller one as well. So we have some nice bushy palm trees that haven't been cut back. Just gives them a lot more bulk. There we go. So I'm also going to do a little bit of watercoloring. And I'm going to watercolor first in Sahara Sand. And I'm looking around for all my ink pads. So I'm using some of the ink from the ink pad. And this is just going to create a gray granite ground. I'm using my watercolor brush. And I'm using the nice wide one. It's a really simple wash down at the bottom just to kind of give me a little bit of sand. You can see how easy I'm brushing along there. And I'm not sure if you can see or not. It's ever so slight. There we go. And I'm going to close that up because I don't need that. Then I'm going to take my pool party and I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to create the sky. So nice little wash in the background for the sky. And you noticed on my first one, I used the wide brush. This one I'm using the more of a brush tip. So this one's got like a flat brush to it. That's how I did my gray granite sand. This one has more of a brush tip to it. And this is what I'm going to do my sky with, but ever so slightly. And I'm going to avoid the areas where I have already inked because I don't want to water that down. I would be creating a new color if I color over that area because this is not going to blend. So let's see, this is a little bit more washed than on the other card. And that's what's going to be. You're going to have to accept it. Every card is going to come out differently. So you may have done the perfect sky the first time and the second one comes out a little bit different. That's okay. They're all going to be different. And you can kind of see on mine, this one has more of a brush stroke to it. This one had more of a watercolor, more watery, I guess. And the last thing I want to stamp down on this one is my happy birthday sentiment. And I've got all of these pre-mounted. This is on block B. I don't like to use blocks that are too big. I know some people think if you get a bigger block, you can use it more often, but I don't like to have too much of the acrylic because you have a tendency to pick up ink around the stamp with too much going on. And I'm going to stamp down right there. That's the happy birthday. Now, before I start losing things, what I'm going to do is layer up. And this base goes onto my cinnamon cider mat. I'm going to do a quick job of it. Hopefully I've got my silicone mat handy, and I do. And I'm just going to do quick adhesive, and it's flat adhesive right on here. We're going to have about a 1/16 of an inch border, ever so slight. There we go. And this is going to be attached to the card base with Stampin' Dimensionals. And I knew I needed to grab a new pack. These dimensionals go like hotcakes in my craft room. I think I open a new package every other day. And I'm using the standard size because we've got a nice big area. And we're going to be attaching this, and it just gets centered onto the card base. Right, like so. We've got about 3/8 of an inch, actually, all the way around. I'm going to go ahead and stamp and do my inside greeting as well. So on this one I stamped, hope you find a little bit of paradise. There we go. And I'm stamping in cinnamon cider up towards the top. And I like to stamp first before I adhere, just in case. Then I'm going to use that sort of like a batik cane die. This is going to be placed right across the bottom. And I'm just getting out those extra little pieces. And I'm going to have more than I need, so I'm going to go ahead and snip. And let's see, right around here. And I'm just putting this on with little dots of multi-purpose liquid glue. Let's see if I can just put a tiny bit behind the wider parts of the die cut. Like so. And this goes right down at the bottom. And it's just a tiny bit long, so I'm going to trim that off. There we go. This gets flatted here as well. So taking advantage of my seal. And it goes on the inside. Like perfect. This first card, it's an easy one, so that means you can get it done in no time. These are great to have on hand. Now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create that little Volkswagen van, and it's going to have to be hand snipped, but that's okay. It's not too cumbersome. I'm going to stamp in Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I'm actually going to stamp 2 times. I'm going to stamp on basic white, and then I'm going to stamp as well. Let me grab a scrap, because I am going to be stamping on a small scrap of the Brights Designer Series paper. Instead of coloring the van, we're going to paper piece it. It goes really quickly, and I'm looking, there we go. I don't want to leave that black ink uncovered because I'm going to get inky, I know that. All right, so I'm just going to do the body of the van, so I don't have to worry about grabbing the fender or the lights. It's a quick cut. Some of it's kind of straight. Just going to snip it really fast. I am going to be doing a little bit of coloring with the blends. So, and go down and around the wheel wells. Right, like so, almost done. There we go. And what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of adhesive straight onto the basic white image. And just align that right in. There. And next, I'm going to do a little bit of coloring. I'm going to bring in my blends. I'm going to go for, let's see, I've got light smoky slate. I'm going to do the roof of the car. I'm going to do the windows in Pool Party and the tires in black. So let me start with the windows, Pool Party. And it's just a quick wash. Then I'm going to use the pen tip to grab and put some little bit of color in here on the paint parts of the body. Right, like so. And if you don't want a paper piece, you could just color with the blends as well. That goes there. Let's see, I'm going to do the hubcaps in smoky slate. And are these fenders? I don't know all my car parts. And then there's like a little muffler in the backlight. Then, I'm gonna do the wheel well as well. There we go. And the tires are black. And I'm using the pen tip as well. It's kind of a tight spot to get into. And if you go outside the lines, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. We're going to be hand snipping, so it's not going to show. There we go. What did we do before blends, right? Everything is so easy with the blending pens. All right, now we're going to snip this. And it goes really quick, not too intricate. All right, like so. I love these old vintage Volkswagen vans. I get so excited when I see them on the street and they have been, I don't know, refurbished or just tended. It's so sweet to see them out on the road and still in use. Oh my gosh. So my first Volkswagen was a 1979 convertible Beetle, and I think I've had 6 altogether. All right, this little van popped up on dimensionals. And again, I'm just using the standard size. So my current Beetle is black and white. My original was all white. And that little sweetie got left in Britain to live happily ever after. We had some friends that bought that Bessie off of us. All right, here we go, right down like so. And we are done with the card. We already did the inside, so happy birthday. Nice breezy palm trees and that vintage Volkswagen van. Hope you find a little paradise wherever you may be. Yay, easy, right? And really nice to have on hand because I think either a man or woman would appreciate this birthday greeting. So there's our first card. The second one is going to involve some die cutting. So here's our second card. And I mentioned that you had options with this bundle. You can either stamp the palm trees or you can die cut the palm trees. So in this one, we're going to be doing some die cutting and you can see some extra texturizing. The cool thing is on this one, you don't have to do any fussy cutting. Thank you, Betty. And again, it's one that's suitable for man or woman. This one's going to feature the little beetle in that driving by set and the little sentiment that says driving by just to say happy birthday. So let's have a look at how I made this one. Another simple one, easy to create. I am going to close up some of these ink. I'm going to need that ink pad, so I don't want to do that. Let me grab what I need. All right, so this one has a basic white card base, and it's the standard cut 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 1 1/4. Then I have two, let's see, oh no, I'm missing some things. Here we go. Two small strips of the designer series paper. And let's see. This is the Artfully Composed, and I'm looking at, let's see, which pattern did I use? This pattern right here. It's got all kinds of leaves on it with some pear pizzazz, some evening evergreen, and some just jade. And by the way, just jade is also retiring, so that's another in color that I'll be sad to see go. So these little strips are 5.5 by 1/2 inch, and I'm gonna adhere those. The theory is do it before I lose them. And let's see if I can find what I need. Okay, I've got my seal. I'm looking for my mat. Here is my silicone mat, and I'm just going to flat adhere these to the front. Again, it's 5.5 by 1/2 inch, and this gets abutted right to the very edge of the card base. And kind of slipped on there. So easy dimensions, and just scraps of that pretty designer series paper. I have the same measurements of just jade. So just 5.5 by 1/2 inch. Get it started there. And this gets abutted right next to the designer series paper. Then we've got a piece of basic white. This one measures 5.5 by 3.5, and this one has been texturized with the Bark soft embossing folder. It's this one's another one of those nice textures that goes with so many different patterns. So that's what I'm using here. This one I'm just going to put, because it's kind of bumpy, I am going to adhere it with Tombow. And this one gets abutted right to about 1/8 of an inch. So we're only going to have about 1/8 of an inch peeking through of that just jade. And it gets abutted at the top and bottom. Right there. All right. Then we are going to be doing some stamping as well. I am going to bring in some scraps of cinnamon cider and also mossy meadow. And let me just get rid of that piece right there before you know what happens. And just gonna put some seal right there. This piece goes on the inside of the card. Just put a little bit of decorative edge right to it. There. And we'll do some stamping. I'm gonna stamp that trunk. This time I'm going to use both. I'm using the one that's straight up, and I'm using the, see, I knew that was going to happen. So I'm using the curved one as well, and I need to die cut these. And so let me see here. I'm going to use the mini right here, and this should go through okay. Let me grab my plates. There's that. This is what fell earlier. So I've got my platform. I've got one cutting pad on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and put my cardstock down, and then I've got 2 dies that are going to go through. And you could use washi tape or just cross your fingers and hold your breath. I think it'll work out fine without any washi tape. And let's see. Now with the mini, a lot of people struggle with it. The best thing to do is to stagger the plates. Otherwise, you have a tough time feeding it through. If the plates are staggered, it accepts the dies really easily. There we go. So we've got 2 trunks, a curved and a straight. I'm going to set that aside. Oh, I should have done my other stamping. You know what threw me off was the doorbell ringing. Okay, so next I've got my Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to be stamping those palm fronds in Mossy Meadow. So let me grab my ink, and I'm going to do 2 small and 2 large. There we go. Those are going to be doubled up as well to make the tree a lot fuller. Let me bring back in my plates. Whoops. And let's see what I can do. So we've got 2 sizes of dies here. One is larger. And we've got a smaller one. I love having the mini. By the way, if you do not own a stamping a mini cut and emboss machine, there is going to be a promotion coming up in March. I think it's 20% discount on the mini. It's a great time to add the mini to your crafty tools. All right, so I'm going to push this through. Oh, I already see that my dice slipped, so let's give that a try again. So in addition to the mini being on sale, there are going to be a couple of, actually I think it's 4 bundles that are also going to be discounted. And they're bundles that are dies that will fit through the mini. Now see, I've got a little bit of a struggle going on here. Let me see if I can flip that and push that through. There we go. So you know things aren't stacked correctly if it doesn't feed through right away. Just kind of adjust the plates and they'll go through. So I'm getting a small and a large. I'm going to do a second run. And that's the small. I might have to do these separate. I stamp them kind of far apart. My challenge is always to see how many dies I can get on here for one run. I think it's just like it's my personal challenge. Like maybe I'm lazy. I don't want to do too many more than I have to. All right, so let's see if this will go through. And so we need to shift that again. So what I'm finding is the mini likes the top one first. So if you can stagger it with the top one, jut it out more than the others, it moves along nicely. Okay, so we've got, I'm gonna put those dies away. We've got 2 sets of large and 2 sets of small palm fronds. And let's see. Let's layer these up. So I'm gonna take my 2 tree, the trunks, and put a drop of liquid glue on each one. There's a nice circle, so you've got a base to work with here. I'm going to get the larger and put that down first. And I'll do that on both. And then the smaller one, I'm going to pop up with a dimensional. So right through here. And the dies are great for bringing more dimension into your card. The stamping was all one level, flat. This dies give you that 3D look. So we've got our two trees. And from the same die set, I also, let's see if I had this already done. I hope so. Maybe not. Yes. The die set also includes a small circle that would be the sun, and I die cut this in Mango Melody. I'm just going to put it up at the top, and this is going flat adhered. Here's my reference card. It's going to go right around there, flat adhered. My trees are going to be flat adhered, like so. And I've just attached them with multi-purpose glue, and I did the tall one, the tall straight one first, and I just put drops right on the trunk and on the palms, and it goes right up to the top. And then the other one goes on as well, flat, and I have it bending way off onto the designer paper. Go. Now to do some stamping, and let's see, I thought I had my circle. I do. I pre-cut just a layering circle. This circle measures 2.5, and that's going to be stamped on. And what I'm going to do, you will notice that my Volkswagen Beetle on the driving by set has presents on the top, but I don't want those presents, so what I'm going to do is mask that off. And sometimes you can mask off by using a marker. I don't want to use one of my Stampin' Write markers though, because I'm going to be coloring this with a blend. So I'm just going to put a Post-it note over those presents that I don't want to show up. I'm going to remove that Post-it note, then I'm going to stamp down. And looks like I did get a little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to be covering that anyway. Not sure if you can see. There's a slight little black line there. No worries. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in my sentiment that's from the driving by set. And this time I'm going to use my Stampin' Write marker. And I'm only going to ink up the driving by just to say. The stamp itself says driving by just to say hi, but we are driving by to say happy birthday. So there's my sentiment. It's going to go right above the beetle. And I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to put my 3 dots. The continuation of the sentiment goes on the inside. And I'm going to color up the beetle, and what I'm coloring with, the windows are in Pool Party. The body is in Calypso Coral, and then the tires and hubcaps are Smoky Slate again. So let's do some coloring. We're going to start with the Pool Party windows. Just going to color in here. So really quick wash. And I'll do my Smoky Slate, which is the little fender, little latch on the back, the hubcaps. And then I also did the little light as well. Okay, so then I'm going to bring in I'm going to go ahead and do the tires in black. And And then the body, again, it's in Calypso Coral, and I'm going to start by coloring the body and doing just a quick color wash. So I think after I had my convertible, my 1979 convertible, I had I think it was in 1976, just the basic beetle, and that was a pretty little powder blue beetle. I think the next one I got was let's see, would have been a 2004 convertible in this really pretty blue with a black top. Then we bought a white convertible, just the basic with the sunroof, really cute. I'm going to get in the dark Calypso Coral as well. Then I had a tan convertible, I think it was a 2010. And then finally I got my last convertible, and I say last because they're no longer in production here in the States anyways. I'm not sure if you can get them someplace else in the world, but the current one is a 19 black and white. So really loyal to the Volkswagen brand. I love my Beetles. All right, now I'm gonna do the same as I did on my first card. I'm gonna do a little color wash with some sky in the background. So I'm gonna bring in the smaller brush and just do a light wash for the sky. And if you squeeze it and let out a little bit of water, it flows a little bit easier. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same with the, let's see, the smoky slate. And just looking around for my smoky slate pad. Here we go. And I'm just using, again, the wider brush. Just gives me the little grounding for that car. All right, so next what I'm gonna add, of course, if that Beetle is at the beach, it probably needs a surfboard. And there is no surfboard in this little stamp set, but what I've done to create a surfboard is I've taken my large daisy punch. I am going to punch a couple of the petals. And then I'm going to snip just one of the petals. So just like here. Yeah, only need one petal. And this one is going to be kind of flat because it's on top of the car. So I'm just going to slice it in half. Doesn't have to be straight, probably better if it's not. And then the little, I'm not a surfer, so I don't know what that back portion of the fin goes to the back. Hello, Sandy. Thank you. Very clever, huh? We need that surfboard. Okay, so then let's see. Uh-oh, I have it going the wrong way though. Let's see. Let me grab a different one because I snipped off too much. So what happened to my daisies? Right here. And let's see. Here we go. And so what I want is this portion right here. So I just want a little bit of the circle part. I want like that fin, and cut it in half. Put a little bit of adhesive behind, flat adhesive. And this is going to go on the roof of the Beetle. Just like so. Thank you, Betty. There we go. There's my little surfboard. This one, you could make it colorful. I just use a, let's see, the gray granite for that. And this gets onto the card with dimensionals. And the reasoning for stamping on the circle is so that we wouldn't have to fussy cut the little Beetle, which would not be a big deal. We managed to do the van without any problem. So here we go. Driving by to say. And in this inside, we're driving by to say happy birthday. And I'm going to stamp in the Memento Black, just like we stamped the beetle. And I might need to clean my stamp. Let's see. I've got my chamois at the ready, my filthy, dirty chamois. Don't need surfboards here in Wisconsin. Oh, I'm so sad, Betty. No, not in the lakes either, huh? Well, let's see. What do you see? Because you always see beetles as workhorses. There's always stuff on the roof rack. You can put other things up there. So I guess you could put the suitcases or the gifts back up there. All right, happy birthday. And there we go. There is card number 2 using the dies from the Paradise Palms bundle. Another fun card, this time with the, with the beetle from the Driving By set. Okay, so next, and I'm looking around trying to find my previous cards that I did. And they're on the desktop, right? They've got to be here someplace. My goodness. All right, the last card, remember, this is the birthday series, and lots of times, like, what kind of gift, what's the easiest gift for anything, right? It's gonna be a gift card or it's gonna be cash. And so I've got a nice little project to gift that gift card. We have a gift card holder, happy birthday, using our palms, and you open it up. It's like a fun fold. Here is the pocket for the gift card. Open it up again, and you have your place to write your message, wishing you a warm and beachy kind of day. You can write your message there, and absolutely, Betty, it could be a snowboard. Great idea. The shape is just going to be slightly different, right? And you can see I put the beetle there, but you could put the van. In fact, this one, I think we might put the van on it. So let me share with you how easy it was to make this little gift card holder. So I'm going to put that there and tell you what we need. For this fun fold card, we need a card base, and I'm using the Just Jade. Remember, the Just Jade is going to be retiring, so if you like this pretty green, you want to get a supply before it's gone. And this measures, let's see, I don't want to steer you wrong. I do have this written down. So this one measures 8.5 by 4 1/4, and it's scored on the long edge at 3 inches. And so this is going to be folded this way. We need another piece of cardstock. This one measures 8 inches by 3 inches, and it's been scored on the long side at 4 inches. So it's going to go this way. So that's the basis of the card. I'm using, again, the artfully composed paper. And this time I'm using the pattern that has the nice big leaves and a little bit of like scripty writing in the background. This layer measures 4 inches by 5 1/4, and so you will want to watch the directionality of the paper. You want this on the horizontal or the landscape side. And I'm just going to layer this up onto the card base. We're going to have about 1/8 of an inch all around. All right. We also need more printed paper. We want one that coordinates, and it doesn't have to be the same pattern. It could be any pattern. This one measures 4 inches by 2 3/4, and it's going to go on the outside flap. And so you could even flip it over if you wanted to. You could, just mix up the patterns because the papers usually coordinate with the colors, so you could make it more interesting. And there we go. Then I'm going to do just like I recommended. My next piece that's going to go on the inside of that flap is the contrasting pattern. And again, it measures 4 inches by 2 3/4, and it gets flat adhered here. So just like so. And again, we're going to have about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. All right, next we need a coordinating paper. This one measures 3 inches by 3 3/4, And what we're going to do is create a little slot so the gift card can peek out. And to do that, I'm going to use the tailored punch, and I'm going to insert on the short side, so the 3-inch side. I'm going to insert the punch halfway. That way the gift card or cash or check can peek through. And we have like a little decorative notch in there. This gets placed onto the other cardstock, and it goes on the inside. So the card is going to be assembled this way. So we're going to open up the flap. This goes here, and I'm going to adhere it with my tear and tape. You could use liquid glue, but what I want to remember is that I only want this on 3 sides. I do not want to put it across the top because you won't be able to slip the gift card in if you do that. Right, like so. And then again on the bottom. So we've got it on 3 sides. And then let's see if I have my take your pick tool. That's helpful for removing the backing to the tear and tape. So just peel that off. And take off. All right, so thank you, Debbie. We can always use gift cards, right? Gift card holders. All right, so, or do you mean the previous card with the die cuts? All right, so now this little pocket, remember it goes on the inside and the fold is going to be to the right. So we open that up and it's going to be abutted to the score line right there. And so our gift card is going to be able to slip right in here. And on this side, we're going to have a scalloped rectangle. And this comes from the, let's see. Oh, I should have made note. It's the contour dies. This die measures 3 3/4 by 2 1/2. And it's going to be on the inside here. But before I set it down, I am going to stamp it. And let's see, I do have, let's see if I have it still. Trying to find all my supplies here. And I don't have it. Looks like I'm going to have to redo it. So instead of using the beetle, on this one, I'm going to do the van. And I thought I already had a pre-done one, but it has escaped. So I'm just going to have to do it again. And it's going to go easily. If I can just find this stamp. Here we go. Yeah, right here on the white. And I'm going to add some color to it. Let's see. I can do another. I wanted to switch it up a little bit. I can't find my papers. All right, so this van's going to be a little bit more neutral. So I've got a gray granite, the pattern paper. There's my body. And I'm going to close that up because I know I'm going to get everything inky. And I'm going to trim off the body. Off on a date with Gary. How exciting. Have a good time. It's Friday night, right? Thanks for popping in, Debbie. So here in California, it's about, what, 5 o'clock? Nearly dinner time. And Betty, if you're still on in Wisconsin, is it 2 hours difference? Is it 7 o'clock-ish or 8 o'clock-ish? Today is a beautiful day. It's kind of like a late spring, early summer kind of day. Finally, earlier in the week, it was very chilly and wet and snowy in some areas. Okay, so then I am going to color up the van, and I'm going to, oh, I got smudges, but that's okay because it's going to be covered. The roof is in gray granite, as is the body of the car. And I'm going to do the windows in the pool party. Yep, 7 o'clock, Debbie says. Nice. Well, I love Friday nights. We have a nice relaxing weekend upon us. All right, so let's see. I'm looking for my basic black, which is not here. I'm going to use my marker. Let's see if that'll work for me. The blend would be easier. In fact, if I use my brush, it'll go faster. And wow, this is stark black. The blend, I think I was using the light black in the blend, and I just have a tendency to like it not so stark, but I mean, tires are tires, right? They're usually black, so that's okay. All right, so next, let's see what I did with the body of my van. We're going to put some adhesive on here. Right here. It goes right over top. Looks like I need to add a little bit of color on the wheel wells. So I'm going to bring in my gray granite, or my smoky slate. It's not gray granite, it's smoky slate. Just like so. It goes pretty easily. There we go. And we are going to have to hand snip it. But it doesn't take long. It's pretty fast. So the driving by set actually has 3 vintage cars. The other one's a little sports car. Kind of looks like maybe a Corvette or Corvair. I'm not sure which one. Corvette. They're all cute. And the other sets in Sale-a-bration are also nice to have. There's a cute one with a little girl catching butterflies, which is pretty fun. The, can't remember my names. There's one that has palm fronds and a pineapple, another nice set to have. There's actually a bundle as well where you can get the Hello Friend stamp set and coordinating paper as well. All right, that's the van I'm going to use on this. I want to stamp that first, though. So what I'm going to do is bring in the stamp set that has 3 palm trees, and I'm going to be wanting 2 colors. I want my palm fronds to be the mossy meadow, and then the trunks are going to be cinnamon ciders. So to get the 2 colors on one stamp, I'm going to use my markers and just color up. And I'm doing the trunks in cinnamon cider. And then the palms will be in mossy meadow. Right here. And then on my label, and I think I'm going to put them off to the left. Then I'm going to stamp the greeting on the inside, and I'm going to use cinnamon cider. And this one says, wishing you a warm and beachy kind of day. Still a happy birthday card. Or you could switch it up as well. It doesn't have to be just birthday. I want to go a little bit higher because I want to leave some space for signature. There. And this goes on the inside and it's going to be flat adhered. So I'm just going to use some liquid glue here. And it gets centered right in there. Then the little van goes right on top, and it's going to be flat adhered, coming in from the side, from the left, just like so. Perfect. It's coming together. Okay, so this gets placed on our card base. So I'm going to open up that card base, and I'm going to center it up in here using the liquid glue. And I'm going to be generous with it because I've got a heavy piece. Oh, Betty just reminded me about the otters as well, which are adorable. So there's actually several stamp sets that all of them are cute and perfect for all different kinds of occasions. So yeah, the otters, the butterflies, I can't remember the name. That's going to bug me. Let's see. And it's a favorite too. Look at the island vibes. I like the pineapple, and that pretty plant is nice. This goes well with the paradise palms as well. So the other stamps, of course, there's the daffodil paper, which I've used on lots of projects. Catching butterflies. I think it's so sweet. Wasn't one that I had to have on at first sight, but she's grown on me, and I made my Valentine cards from catching butterflies. There was driving by the Sunshine and Rainbow papers. Oh my gosh, the entire catalog. The Simply Marvelous is beautiful. The Awesome Otters, there you go. The Friendly Hello, the stamp set, and the pattern paper. You know what, I think in the end, I do like them all, the special moments, because look at all those sentiments that you can use, 21 stamps. So I think and the host set, the Calming Camellia, absolutely gorgeous. Every gift was one that I would want, so I hope you feel the same way too. I hope you got them all. You have until Monday, so. All right, so there's the inside. Now we're going to decorate the front. We're kind of going backwards, right? We're doing the front last. So I'm going to layer up with another piece of Designer Series paper, same paper pack. This one measures, let's see, 3 7/8 by 2 7/8, and this is just going to be a layer. So I'm going to just adhere like so. And we have about a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. And we need one more stitched rectangle. And let's do our stamping here. We're going to bring in those palm trees again, doing the same technique. We're going to use our cinnamon cider for the trunks. And then we're going to use our mossy meadow for the palms. And this is going to be to the right. And I'm actually going to do these twice. So the other one was really faint. This one I'm actually going to put a little bit more ink on to the stamp. You could do the second stamping without re-inking. It comes out really ghosted. I wanted it to show up just a little bit more. So, right, more palms. Then we are going to put our happy birthday sentiment, again in cinnamon cider. And I'm going... And we're going to add a little bit of sand. We're going to use gray granite ink. And we're going to use the stamp. And you can actually stamp two different ways. There's one that comes down with like a little dugout part. I'm going to flip it and go the other direction, lightly inked. It's going to be just slightly to the left. So we have a little bit of sand ground in there. And one last thing, let me get rid of some of these ink pads. I'm going to bring in Mango Melody, and we have a sun stamp as well. And on this one, I do want to stamp off. Let's see if I can find a scrap. I'm going to stamp off and then stamp right here behind the palm trees. And we're almost done. This is going to go onto the card front. And I think I want to put that up on dimensionals this time. I like the way it looks elevated. So just 4 dimensionals. And oops. Get centered right in here. We're going to bring in a scrap. We had snipped earlier our little batik die cut. Oh, here's a piece right here. I'm just going to take one little square and I'm going to place this onto the front of the card, but let's see, just with a tiny dot of liquid glue, and it goes right slightly to the left right there. And let's see, I'm going to need some twine, and I've got some markers uncapped. Let me take care of them before they get ruined. And let's see, I need a mini glue dot. Use my take your pick, and this is going to go right on top here. Oh, you know, on the other one I had a die cut. I don't have my die cut handy. So what I did on the first one, on the reference one, I have a little die cut of a leaf, like a palm frond, and that is included in the die set. And I cut it in Mossy Meadow. I'm not prepared with it right now, so what I'm going to do is just add my little twine bow. It's going to look a little bit different, but that's okay. No one will know. And let's see if I can tie a bow here. And I need to snip my ribbon. Right there. Let me bring that down. It's kind of big. The loops are really big. Right there. This goes. Did I put my glue dot down? I didn't. It's what? Oh, that glue dot has a mind of its own. Let's see if I can get it off. Yep, right there. And then I'm going to squish that down right in there. And we're going to trim that up a tiny bit. And there is the gift card holder for the happy birthday using the Paradise Palms. So we have our 6 cards. We have 2 of the gift card holders stamped, and we have our 2 driving by cards with the die cuts, and then we have our 2 happy birthday just stamped and a little bit of hand snipping. So we have our birthday cards using the Paradise Palms and the driving by celebration set featuring the artfully composed designer series paper. And let's see, my colors were Pool Party, Basic White, and Just Jade, and we have a little bit of Cinnamon Cider in there. Both Cinnamon Cider and Just Jade are on the retirement list that's going to be released shortly. We have until May 2nd to get all of those things. Thank you, Debbie. Thanks, Sandy. I hope you like my birthday cards. If you would like to shop and get the kits to make your own, just place your order using the hostess code by Sunday night. The final day for Sale-a-bration is Monday, so don't forget, get your final gifts. It's a great time to stock up. Thank you, Betty. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you had a nice, relaxing time. It's going to be a great weekend. If you have any questions or comments, please post them here. I will post the edited version onto YouTube in case you want to make, for example, the card holder, the gift card holder, so you have the measurements there. All right, my friends, thanks so much for joining me.